Welcome, everybody, to the Three Gun Show. This is episode 292. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and with me again for the last time in 2020 is Adam Maxwell. AMax, welcome back, my friend.
292.
292.
Coming up on 300.
Coming up on 300. So that brings up an interesting question. So in the Christmas episode, I let it slip that Three Gun Show is probably not going to be the Three Gun Show for very much longer. I kind of want to change it to a general format, not because I'm like wild about general format podcasts, but because of what I do now. There's so many interesting opportunities to talk to interesting people that don't necessarily relate to Three Gun, but I think have like awesome stories that I want to share with the crowd. So do we call it on the year, or do we go to 300 episodes? Because my goal was to do 300 episodes of the Three Gun Show.
Well, I mean, you got to do 300 episodes of the Three Gun Show.
I feel like I got to fill it out.
Got to fill it out.
All right. So
you'll be sad if you did.
8 more, everybody. Woo!
8 more.
You know what? Like not only will I be sad if I didn't, but I think that's like probably something that would eat at me. Like exactly. I would think about it like before I go to sleep and stuff. Be like, God dang it! I only did 292 episodes. Failure.
I should have just figured out 8 more to do.
Exactly. Well, I even know. I think 6 guests I want to have on. So that, yeah. All right, we're doing.
I'm glad you're not like Jocko and that you have to list every show number that the guest has been on.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because that would be a lot. Like, yeah, when John Stryker Meyer comes on, he's like episode 172, 173, 174, 183, 192. And it's like it's this huge list because he's been on so many times. It's like, man.
What? Excuse me, joking. I tell you how he does that. He's got an assistant.
Yep.
You don't do that just off the top of your head. And for Jocko, I feel like he'd be one of those guys that like it would take too much time to look up. But if it's on those notes in front of him, it's easy to read. You know.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So AMax most recently
bad radio though.
I'm sorry.
It's bad radio though.
To read it all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna go with AMax most recently on the Jeff Kirkwold Memorial podcast. That are released, obviously released a little bit later than we had anticipated, but it's out there and it's good content, man. AMax hung in for the whole show. I think we did about 90 minutes. We didn't start early, so we got the proper round this time, so it was pretty good. The gentleman from Memorial Three Gun joined us to tell us about Memorial Three Gun and about the charity that Jeff Kirkwold Memorial Three Gun Match is now supporting. And our buddy Adam Weber came on, which is good. Our buddy Travis. It was a good time.
Yeah, and really excited about the Memorial Three Gun stuff on several levels. But yes, getting very involved with them because the VP of that organization now works with me at Vortex. So Bryce and I spend an uncomfortable amount of time together. And so we have unrestricted access to each other's events, and so I'm sure there's gonna be all kinds of cross-pollination there. And then my better half Rachel also is involved with what would typically be called the board of directors. I'm not quite sure what they're calling it this week, but she's involved with the administration in that. She does all the marketing or she's the head of the marketing section for Memorial Three Gun. So lots of cool stuff happening there, and we're really excited to be involved with it, a lot more involved with it on the charity side than we have been in the past. So
that's great. It's good to hear. So I'm guessing Jeff Kirkwold Memorial Three Gun going to be happening again?
It is a go. We have set the dates. They are the same as they always are. I forget what exactly the numerals are. I think I want to say August 21st and 22nd. But yes, Forest Lake has agreed to have us back again. All the pertinent players are going to be there. We're gonna do it again, as normal, until some other curveball gets thrown at us. But come hell or high water, we had a match this year, and we're going to continue.
Fantastic. That's great to hear.
And then we're going to do also, I guess, the other big thing on my radar for this year on that front is the third Wisconsin State Championship is a go as well. We got approval from the board of directors at our club here. So it's going to be at a different club. It's going to be at Lodi, or the Winnequa Gun Club, closer to Madison instead of Milwaukee this year. Bigger facility with more access to more things, especially space-wise. So like we can use the PRS range, and there's legit jungle runs. Well, not that there weren't before, but we have a jungle run area that's rarely been seen unless you're local to us. And we have like 10 bays for a section level USPS match. So lots of room to spread out. It's going to be bigger and badder than ever. Super stoked on it. So open for that now, or at least soon by the time you hear this. So those are the two big things kind of going on in our backyard that I'm directly involved with on an administrative side. And they're going to be full steam ahead for 21.
That's exciting. So I've never been out to Winnequa, but I knew that it had some distance areas there. So you'll be able to get some good distance on rifle in the Wisconsin Championship, which is pretty exciting.
What I would call a military style long range that I believe goes out to 1,600 yards.
Damn.
Technically. That part of the range isn't used very much, but there's a high power lane that's, I don't know, we'll call it 50 yards wide, and there's a flat spot every 100 yards for high power guys to do high power things.
It says metallic silhouette rifle range from 200 meters out to 500 meters, and then regular rifle range 100 yards to 1,200 yards.
It has 1,200 yards. There you go. But the silhouette range is going to be part of the match. That's where the long range is going to be. Has hanging steel on it all the time. So we'll use some variation of that. And it is abutted to an area we can do jungle runny stuff. So it won't just be a long range deciding stage.
Nice. I like it. Well, cool. That's exciting. So the Kirkwall Memorial 3-gun coming up same time this year. I can't wait. I think this will be my 5th year now, maybe my 6th, but we'll be out there for sure. Can't wait for that one. And check out the podcast that AMax is on. It's like 3 podcasts ago. It's a good one. Adam, got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What just happened?
Bro, I don't even know.
I feel like this simultaneously was the longest year of my life, and then it breezed by really fast too.
It kind of drug on forever, and at the same time, it kind of rattled off pretty quick. I think that kind of depends on what kind of person you are as to how, I would say my perspective, and that's just my opinion. But like, I think the early spring or late spring to early summer part went the same for everybody, no matter where you were. Mm-hmm. And then from there, around 4th of July time, I think there was kind of when the going gets tough, the tough get going kind of people.
Yep. And
then I think there's also the kind of people that stayed home and awaited further instructions. And probably wouldn't surprise anybody that I'm in that first category. So like as soon as we could go places and we could do things and we could try to make stuff happen, I'm in sales. If you're in sales, you get it. You gotta make it happen. It's not going to come to you. So trying to make stuff happen. And in doing so, a lot of things that were scheduled for spring got rescheduled for fall. And then it turned into like this montage of craziness that was pretty much the back half of September and all of October. So
a montage is like the perfect way to describe my 3-gun season. It's like, first I'm over here and it's hot outside and we're shooting heavy, and then I'm over here and it's hot outside and I'm shooting light, and then I'm over here and now we're doing the shoot off. Like it just all happened so fast. And usually, usually like it's a long season. This was like
it was dense,
deep. Yeah, exactly. It was dense.
It was dense because I think the first one it was Texas 3-gun, and then it was
I did a Wyoming 3-gun match before that, I think.
Oh yeah, Wyoming. Well, Wyoming would have been in the beginning of August.
Or Wyoming Governor's match.
Yeah, so the Governor's Cup was in there. Kirkwald was in there. And then there was Texas 3-gun. Shooter Sorts, which I ended up not being able to go to. Surefire. I'm drawing a blank. We did a separate event, a non-3-gun event called the Shooter Symposium in Texas.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Memorial 3-gun was in October. And it was 4 or 5 matches for me. 4 or 5 matches that I really wanted to do. So I was doing them all, and then I mixed in some work stuff, and then the Shooter Symposium, which was a work event for me. It's a 3-gun style event with more of the tactical training twist on it. And Dave, you were there too. We were contenting for Vortex.
Yep.
For that was there's a lot of moving parts to that.
I liked that format a lot, and we got to see if we can put something like that together for the 3-gun community.
Super good. Yeah, I thought
it was really useful.
It was really good. Oh, and then they did a carbine only match. They did like a Sons
of Liberty Gunworks did that. It was like the next week, or no, it was the weekend after.
Yeah, it was like a week or two later, and they're like, "You coming down for it?" And I was kind of at that point of the season, like my season had been going very well. I kind of found, let's say, inspiration, or I just kind of got over a hurdle or a plateau that I was at. And so everything was going really good for me, and I didn't want to stop. It's kind of like when it gets going, you don't want to stop, just keep going. So
that's how gambling junkies just keep going, man.
It was exactly like that. But they were like, well, we got a match here in 2 weeks. Are you going to come down for that? And I was like, well, I'll just leave a case of ammo here and I'll be back.
And then we forgot the weekend.
And it was kind of like that was at the ranch.
We forgot the weekend before the symposium was the AK match, right?
That was Clash Bash.
Bash, there you go.
Clash Bash, yeah. So those guys had a montage of a fall too. And between those events, I was just kind of like, man, whatever you guys, the ranch, whatever you guys want to do, we're in. Like, yep, sign me up. just let me know so I can block it on my calendar. I'll be here.
Yeah, what a wild ride. Of the season. I'm of the opinion that 3-gun should be spread out a little more than it was this year. And there was several times where I did laundry and loaded clothes right back into my suitcase.
Yes.
You ever done that one? You pull the dirty clothes out of your suitcase, launder them, and put them all right back in?
Yeah. No, I'm very good at that, actually. I was I was making sure that my better half would be okay with all that. We were kind of building it up ahead of time. Like October is going to be intense. You sure you're okay with that?
Yeah. You're on your own for October. Just remember that.
What do we need to do to make that okay and still be together at the end of that? But it worked out. She was actually very good about it, and she was actually involved in some of it. Again, she's involved with Memorial 3-gun, and she's involved with she was involved with the Shooter Symposium too. So that helped. It was very much it was a lot of 24 and 48 hour turns on trips, getting back on unpacking, taking the helmet and the armor out of my luggage and putting the ELS belt and Vepr mags in my luggage.
Yeah. Wait, is this one tactical or was the last one tactical? Which way are we going here?
Yeah. Are we shooting or are we getting shot at? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I live here in Cheyenne, Wyoming now. I'm very fortunate to have friends nearby, and my pal Forrest has a girlfriend that grew up with Brittany's, so she really enjoys having.
Boy.
Yeah, really enjoys having Parker over. So, I found a dog sitter as well, which has saved me. It's probably saved me a couple $1,000s this year in boarding fees, based on what I did last year. Actually, it's a little less.
No joke, dude.
Yeah. So, but each time I was like, is this too much yet? Are we sure this is still cool? We're going to be friends when I get back, right? This isn't too much.
We're still good.
Yeah. Everything's still fine, right? Yeah. So, very grateful for them to, hang on to Parker, and, they've got two other dogs as well, and like a dog door. So Parker just kind of like blends it with the pack, I guess, and so he has fun.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's
it's good. If you're gonna travel a lot, pro tip: if you simply must have a dog, which I get, only have one.
Yeah,
because we dog sitted a pair of dogs, and we have a dog too, and that was hell. That was absolute hell.
Really?
One of them is a 6-month-old griffin, wired hair griffin.
That's a big dog, isn't it?
No, it's not. But they are by nature very timid.
Oh, really?
So they're the kind of dog that if you like even talk to them in too harsh of a voice, they will piss all over the floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this dog is like barely house trained to begin with. And then like, yeah, I didn't put the mop away for like 3 days.
Oh man.
He was a cute dog, but I was ready for it to go back to where it came from.
I wonder if that's a bird dog thing, because Parker's breed, the Brittany's, they're very timid as well. Parker's never like peed when he's been in trouble or anything, but he will pout, and like he'll pout for hours if he gets in trouble for something.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and this is Griffins specifically, because like when I was at Arms and Arms, one of the managers got a Griffin and he was all about it. Excuse me. And I learned this, and then, and that dog went through that phase. And then the owners, the Arnsens, they got a new dog, and so they got one. So we had 2 Griffins around, and both of them, like, I mean, if you say, if you say bad dog just a little bit too firm of a voice, that dog will just melt into the floor and then completely evacuate itself of all bodily fluids.
Oh, buddy.
It's pretty. I was like, you could, if you just say good boy in a low voice, like it just melts into the floor and looks up at you with the eyes. And
oh yeah. Well, that whole thing when you don't catch the dog doing something, you can't scold him.
Yeah.
So if I've caught Parker, like he's gone on. He's a bird dog, so if you don't keep him entertained, he'll find something to chew on. So he's like chewed through a sock or something, and so I gotta be like, "Oh, buddy, you chewed through my sock, you son of a bitch! I can't believe you did that. I don't have that many dress socks. I'm so angry with you." And of course, he thinks you're all excited and stuff. It's like, damn it,
I don't feel any better.
Yeah, exactly. So he's wagging his tail and he's happy, but it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go put myself in timeout real quick. Speaking of timeout, what was that dog at Arnzen that pouted when his owner would leave the room?
Oh, Junior.
Junior
was a weird mix of various types of bulldog, possibly a bit inbred. would bark at his own reflection in the glass. But yes, when his owner would leave, like his owner would go to like get a sandwich, and he would basically sit right by the front door and wait for him to come back. or when he would go to the bathroom, he would sit outside the door and just wait with his head down in despair.
Yeah.
until he would come out.
Yeah, it looks like if you've ever seen like a little kid that's dropped an ice cream cone and they just slump over, like that's what that dog
exactly
looked like.
that.
That thing was amazing. Yeah, you showed me a video of that. I think about that a lot. I think that dog just cracks me up.
I still have that picture of that dog, just utter despair, waiting for Mike to come out of the bathroom.
He's been gone like 90 seconds.
Thought you were gone forever.
I didn't think you were coming back.
But man, we should get back on track here, Dave.
Yeah,
here's
welcome,
the real question.
welcome to the dog show.
Yeah, like let me in on the secret. Where are you guys hiding all the guns?
Oh, you didn't get the memo?
No, dude. I've been like, I looked like at the one place that I normally look, like on an obscure Sunday, and they weren't there, so they must all be gone.
So I like to think of the Three Gun Show listeners as high achievers, right? Intelligent, smart people. Because I've met, I probably met 1,000 or more Three Gun Show listeners, and I meet new ones all the time. But
you're basically the Santa Claus of Three Gun.
I see you when you're sleeping. I do keep a list. I've definitely got a list. Not a nice list for sure. And I take bribes just like Santa. His are cookies. Mine are 9 mil. But anyhow, so the if you look at the interwebs, and one of my favorite things to do is like go look at the social media of other companies that are kind of in the same spaces as I am. And I work in the firearms industry now, marketing manager for Stag Arms. So I look at a lot of AR-15 manufacturing companies, and you and I have a lot of friends that work at AR-15 manufacturers, and we have friends that work at other companies.
Oh yes,
that build guns that may not necessarily be AR-15s, and then
guns or gun accessories.
Yeah, guns or gun-like things, and then as far as accessories go, yeah. So I have, a dozen buddies over your way at the Vortex headquarters, and friends at Burris and friends at Athlon, and et cetera, et cetera. So I like to just check in with these people every now and then. Oh, and then I forgot to mention, pals from the NSSF, right? So
yes.
that is the, advocacy group for the firearms industry. So people in the firearms industry. So think of it as like an NRA, if the NRA was good, but for the firearms industry.
Well, they're lobbyists.
Yeah, they're lobbyists for sure.
They're lobbyists. I think a lot of people see like the NSSF as like some like hollow overbranching shooting sports thing that doesn't really have any influence or do anything. But yes, the NSSF is the word I just used.
Lobbyist.
Thank you. They are the lobbyist arm for the industry.
Right. And so one of the things
the NRA is for the individual.
Yep.
And industry people do donate to them as well. But like lobbyists that lobby on behalf of Vista, on behalf of Vortex.
And so if you have a problem, like a political problem, you call the NSSF and they will help you through it. Right.
Yeah.
But that again is a little bit different than the NRA, because the NRA doesn't actually do shit for anyone. Mm-hmm. Even if you need them.
Like that Q thing that came up a few months ago that went away. That was the NSSF.
Oh yeah, the brace thing. Yeah, we talked about the brace thing on the Christmas podcast, and yeah, the NSSF did. They did a lot to do that. Anyway, so check in with people all over the industry, right? And so, if you look at it from a consumer perspective, they're like, where are the guns? Where are the ammo? Why aren't you producing guns? You should make guns. And my favorite is the comment that I get on Stag Arms Instagram a lot is, you should quit posting pretty pictures and go make guns. And like,
trust me, folks. Like,
yeah, bro, I am the last guy you want running that machine.
Yeah, no, yeah, we get that all the time too, especially around some of the social media stuff.
Well, and the weird thing is like, again, I've thought for like a long time that I wasn't like really smart, that like everybody knew the things I know. But now I'm starting to think like maybe there are things I know that other people don't know. And one of them is like a division of labor, like the guy that's sweeping the floor is not the guy that is unloading the material off the truck, is not the guy that ships the guns out, is not the guy that posts on Instagram, is not the guy that pays the bills, is not the guy that, sets the overall direction of the company. It's not all the same guy, so like there's a division of labor. Like it doesn't make sense for me to run the machine and run Instagram. Now for very small businesses, that makes sense. We're kind of like we're a small-ish mid-sized business in
Pause. So that's
Pausing.
That's someone from Stag Arms saying they're a small to mid-sized business, to give you an idea of how big. Because Stag is a fairly well-known brand.
Yeah. I can tell you the first and last name of everyone that works at our company. Like that's how small we are. And I'm not very good with names. Yeah, exactly. So when I worked at Lockheed, we had 100,000 employees. Stag is, a brand that's been around since 2003. In fact, like of the employees that work in Wyoming, I think we have two remote, or I'm sorry, we just got an accountant. So we have 3 remote employees. Of the people that live in Wyoming, they all live within 15 miles of me. Minutes, 15 minutes. I could be at anyone's house in 15 minutes. So we're a small company, and so sorry.
And they get in the industry, they get a lot smaller too.
For sure. And
just like example that I know, Atlas Gunworks, there's like 10 people there.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It really is like there's one person who answers the phone, there's the owner, and then everybody else is building guns.
That's a very good example. But yeah, so spoiler alert, there's
at Vortex we have just over 300 employees. Most of them I've never actually met, and like the same. Yeah, the people in marketing are not the people who. Yeah, that's always a fun comment. Stop playing around on Instagram. And there are companies where especially most 2011 builders, when they first start getting popular for themselves, like, yes, you really do need to get off of Instagram and finish guns because you're the guy who actually builds them.
Right. So anyway, the point is that where are all the guns, right? So the question is where are all the guns? And the answer is that we have been building guns absolutely as fast as we can since April. Probably the end of March. We'll call it the end of March. And we sell everything we make every day. So like the
gone.
Yeah. So what our company does is we look at like the retail outlet as all salesmen, right? And so we have X amount of salesmen, and we divide all the firearms that were made the previous day up amongst all our salespeople. And again, we consider retail outlet all salesperson, all sales unit. And then we turn the sales guys loose on the phones. They sell everything that they have, and then we upload all the stuff onto the website. So the guy that's like, well, you've been out of left-handed Stag 15 tacticals for 6 months. It's like, no. We've been out of them 3 times, and you looked 3 times. And it's like you're missing. What you're missing here is that like you need to be looking every day and at least several times a day, because like stuff goes that fast. And
I don't think people comprehend how fast. It's not that there isn't product; it's that it's going out that fast. And it's the same thing with ammunition on the optic side. Our numbers. I mean, most of the numbers I have, I can't quote, but to give you an idea, most of the products we make that are associated with AR-15s, our production right now is 200% of what it was pre-COVID, and most of those products are still back ordered an average of 6 months or more.
Yes.
And it's just going out the door that fast. And the 1 to 10, 3-gun show people will be very familiar with the 1 to 10. I have back orders on those. I do military and law enforcement sales, so I have back orders on that number in we'll say hundreds of units, and I'll get a weekly allocation of single digits for a SKU. And so I get hammered with folks all the time. Hey man, where's my order? Hey, they coming in? Well, how are we coming on those 1 to 10s? Where are they?
Yeah.
How come? And it's like they're coming in. We're absolutely making them, and they're absolutely coming in and going out. Like, but the thing is that the orders are
tremendous.
Crazy.
Well, I think, that's the thing that people don't understand. So, like you said, you're several X of where you were. So if I did some rough back of the envelope math here, and with no numbers, we're about 12 and a half, 10 to 12%, or excuse me, 10 to 12X what we did last year.
And that's huge.
That's incredible. That's like, I mean, it's almost unsustainable. No, it's definitely unsustainable, but the point is that there's no one in this industry that is sleeping right now and waiting for someone else to take the profit. So everyone's building everything that they absolutely can to service their customers, and if they could build them faster, they absolutely would. So,
well, and like hats off to, like, you saw the video from Federal, and then Hornady did one last week, 2 weeks ago. They're like, just
can we pick a favorite?
In the butt. Huh?
Can we pick a favorite?
We could.
I would like to say that Hornady's is better than Federal's, because Federal's, the guy bitched too much about I'm tired of people coming to our factory. I'm tired of people.
I concur with that.
It's like, hey, easy, buddy.
What I did take out of that I really liked, though, is he threw out the statistic of new gun owners.
Yes.
This year, what was it, 7 million?
Yeah, I think so. The figure I heard was 8 million, but that was after that video. So he said 7.
So you take, just for rough numbers, he said you take 7 million people and figure conservatively that each one of those wants to buy 2 boxes of ammunition, which will be laughable to anyone listening to this show. But I mean, 2 boxes of ammunition, I bought a gun and some bullets to go with it, and I'm walking out the door. He's like, that in and of itself is an astronomical amount of ammunition.
It's 15 million new boxes of ammunition.
Yeah.
New boxes.
Not counting existing LE contracts, existing military contracts, existing commercial contracts. Like, that's on top of your Brownells, your Midway, your Shields, your Cabela's, like, it's an astronomical amount of ammunition. And then the other thing too, just like with any company on the manufacturing side, like, they don't just have spare machines,
just sitting idle waiting.
They don't have, like, the business side of manufacturing is, how do we sell just enough to keep our machines running? And then when we get enough capacity, we buy another machine. They can't just turn it up 200% without, that's like serious construction. Construction on something takes easily a year if they were just going to build a new plant and then fill it with people. And then from a business standpoint, they also have to be able to say, well, is this sustainable? Is this just a snapshot in time?
Oh yeah.
Because if we build a new factory and we buy all these machines and we hire all these people, and then the demand goes away, well, then you have to do ugly things like, well, we have to lay all those people off, so it's, most of the people in the industry, I've, come to find that they're very family oriented, good natured. They really care on the business side. They really care about their employees. So they're very conservative across the industry about expanding, because they don't want to expand beyond what sustainable growth is going to be. So, but
I can pile onto that one. When I worked at Lockheed, excuse me, whenever we would get a new machine, it took like 6 to 9 months to get it up and running. And that was Lockheed Martin. So they were not exactly like, yeah, exactly. Like, a new several $100,000 aluminum milling machine just basically is a drop in the bucket and meant nothing to them. So in the real world, where you have to make profit on your machines, unlike aerospace where you just wait for those fat government contracts, they get them up much, much faster. So 60 to 90 days, right? And so they got to figure like, okay, so 90 days from now, are we still going to be selling guns? Or is the dip going to happen? Like, well, shit, 90 days from the election, goes for 3 months, right? So all the way up until the day before the election, they didn't know what was going to happen. And then once it happened, it's like, okay, well, shoot, now we got to figure out what this means. So people are holding off.
Still don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So people are, still hedging their bets and trying to figure out like, well, is this the time to buy more machines, or do we, kind of sit back and wait and go at the current capacity that we're at? And then on top of that, if you bring in a new machine, you bring in a new person, you have to train that person. Like that person doesn't just walk in, knowing how to make, precision rifle chassis or something like that. Like it's not that easy. And my joke that I've been telling for years now is never buy ammo made in a panic. And there's a reason to that. Like I bought a bunch of Remington 9mm in the last panic, and it was garbage. Like they had like dented brass and like
we're going to see, my prediction, we're going to see 2 to 3 years of squibs and duds.
Yeah.
On the ammo side.
So let me tell you, Adam, my benchmark, it's 7 years. You want to hear how I came out of that one?
I do, actually.
It's going to make you cry. So, I told this story in the Christmas podcast, but I'll abbreviate it here. So when Sandy Hook happened, which we just had the anniversary of. So Sandy Hook happened in 2012. 22 long rifle in the federal bulk pack, like the maroon pack, was 3.4 or 3 point something cents around 3.2 or something like that. And last year, 2019, over the summer, I noticed that federal bulk pack was 3.4 cents around, shipped from like Palmetto State Armory or something like that. And so that in my head was like, oh shit, it's back to what the pre-panic numbers were. It took 7 years to get there.
Wow.
Yeah. Scary, huh?
That is interesting.
That's it.
The other thing I want to jump on too, using your little factoid from Lockheed about a new machine.
Mm-hmm.
So if pick your manufacturer got a brand new machine on April Fool's Day,
mm-hmm.
it would just now be coming online, maybe.
April,
to start
May,
making something.
June, July. Oh, that's if you work at Lockheed Martin. So
yeah, but even
in the real world, they go like 60 to 90 days.
Okay, but even then, like they would, even if they've reacted to this situation, purchased more machines, and brought that capacity is just starting to come back online.
But that's another great point. So now you have a problem with raw materials, right? So where if you have forge receivers like my company does, so where you're buying your forgings from, just because you have more machine capacity doesn't mean you can get more forgings, unless you have like a good relationship with that company, and they've seen the industry as well, and they're making more forgings, which luckily that's happened for us. So we're able to get the proper amount of forgings we need. There's some companies that make them out of billet aluminum, and their machine time is much, much, much higher. And there are material shortages because they're not accepting cargo ships from China. And believe it or not, like most aluminum bar stock or billet is made in China, sadly. So there's those types of things. Here's another thing no one ever thinks about, like detents. Do you make your own detents? No, we buy our detents from this guy down the road. So like we usually buy, so many months worth of detents, and we have like a standing purchase order. And when we are expected to get low on detents, we buy more, right? So that's that just-in-time manufacturing kind of thing. So they make them just in time to ship them to us, and we receive them just in time to put them in our guns when we're about to run out of the other ones. Well, okay, so add in a panic, and like our supply is drawn up. So we call the detent guy and we're like, hey man, we really need those detents. And he's like, well, it takes us 6 weeks to make them. So we're 6 weeks away from getting right, plus he's got 10 guys calling him,
Yep.
so like it's just on and on and on. And, I don't know. I feel like grateful for the experience I've had in manufacturing, working at Lockheed Martin, working in the automotive industry, and then of course where I do now, that I know that kind of stuff, because it makes me a little bit more patient when I can't find toilet paper at the grocery store, and honestly, like that's what I've gone back to with people for a long time when they're like, you should be making more guns. I'm like, bro, like I'll tell you when they're online, you got to be quick to buy them because everyone else is buying them. Don't you remember in what was it, April, when we couldn't buy freaking toilet paper at Kroger? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I think I blame Amazon. Not Amazon the company, but just like the culture of like, I want something.
Oh yeah.
Click, buy it, and it'll be on my doorstep tomorrow. Like that's just not, it's not reality. But it's kind of made this unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
And
so you're absolutely right. And the other thing that people are missing is like most of the firearms company are not tech companies, right? So they're looked down upon by advertisers, by other tech companies. So you can't use the same software that sophisticated logistical software that another company would use. So you're at a disadvantage in doing business, period. And then throw in the fact that, you're much, much smaller than people think you are. The company you would expect to have like 200 people only has 20, so it's like the expectations of getting like a injection molded Nintendo game with a printed circuit board inside is shit. Are they still on cartridges? No, they're on CDs now, aren't they? Or you just download it, don't you? How about that? You just download it and get it right away. You just download it and you get it right away. But we're talking about like real manufactured goods, like how long does it actually take to make that stuff? Well, it takes a long time.
Yeah. And I run in that a little bit too with, quote somebody a lead time on something like we need these. Cool. They're on back order right now. How far out are they? I don't know. 6 months. Whoa. And they're like, well, but this is like this is for law enforcement, right? Can we get priority? I'm like, yes, that is the priority time that I quoted you. Like I have that many back orders for law enforcement departments, that are already earmarked on the priority list. So
yeah. So through the Three Gun Show Pro Shop, I currently have a couple of Vortex items on back order, and I'll deal with guys sending me links to a big box store and saying like, well, this company's got them, and it's like I'll be happy to cancel your order if you want to go buy one over there. That's fine, but understand that like that guy bought probably 500 more than I did.
Well,
and he probably put his order in 5 months before you bought yours. So
yeah, and he orders that every month.
Exactly. So
and I guess I do want to jump in with that too. Is that like a lot of people, especially in the industry, if you or in the competition world, whatnot, like you, probably most of the listeners of the show are maybe only 1 degree of separation away from somebody who works in the industry. So like, you can get pretty close to the source, and that's cool, right? Like a lot of people like having that access and having been somebody who was on that side of it, now being someone on the other side, like that's a really cool interaction. So I respect the desire to want to get it direct. Like, oh, I know a guy at Stag. I call him up when I want a Stag rifle. A lot of times now I tell people like, yes, I can order you one. And, standard lead time discussion ensues. I was like, or I can tell you who has them in stock because I just did allocations. So I know who received 10 this week. And if you call that guy, you can have it tomorrow. No, it won't be direct, but like, especially on the Mill LE side, like, yeah, if you want the discount or the LE pricing, like he has that pricing too, but you got to call this guy because he orders X number, and he orders them periodically. So he always has orders rising to the top in allocation. Whereas if you order today, you're getting in the back of the line.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something that I wish we could do, for various reasons. I never know when or who has what, right? Unless that gun store tags me in one of their photos. And and that's one thing that I really enjoy doing with Stag Arms is like I'll share, my buddy Alan Samuel, who's a three gunner in Colorado, owns a place called Machine Gun Tours, and he's actually bought a ton of stags this year. And anytime that he's got them on the shelf, he'll take a photo of them and they'll post it to their Instagram and tag us in it, and then I'll share it. And I know that's brought a lot of sales to them because, and I mean, that's another thing is like we're dealing with so many new people. They don't know that they can just call them and buy that and ship it to their store in, Iowa or something. But, that's another road I didn't want to go down, that whole story. But anyway, the point is that, like, unfortunately, I don't know where all that stuff goes. I wish I did. And that's a very useful tool to be able to share with your customers is like, yeah, sorry guys, I don't have that, but Steve over here does, and he would love your business. Yeah.
My network is very small. So yeah, that is definitely a luxury that I have because I'm focused specifically on mil LE sales.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
But those guys will sell to the public. They are brick and mortar stores. So like if you're listening to the show, I'm not hard to find. If you're looking for something, I could probably tell you who has one in stock. And then, going to maybe, even to change directions a little bit more. And then you're supporting local businesses.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I'm working with, they're very small pavement pounders that seek out, meetings with agencies, but they carry inventory. But they're also, what that means to you is they're also not a prevalent, they're not going to get 100,000 back orders like Midway USA or something like that. But that's the reason he has one in stock, because not very many people go to his website because he's a little bit more niche. Yeah. But if you know where to look, you can find him, which is really what I want to get to, like on the ammo stuff. If you know where to look, it's still out there. If you just look in the one place that you always get it at the same time, that one time that you went in there to look, yeah, it might not be there. But like, if you're looking, if you're scratching, if you're persistent, it's out there. It's around. It's not gone. And it's catching up, so. Yeah. I said 7 years on 22 LR, but it's much, much faster on 9mm and 5.56. Yeah. Cause there's way more margin in it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
now we're talking 10 cents instead of 2 cents.
Right. Someone commented on a blog post that I did. I think it was last summer when I said, now is the time to buy ammo. And then I had like all these links, and it was when that 22 was 3.5 cents a round, right? And then I linked to like Federal American Eagle, their little black and white box stuff, for the red, white, and blue box, depending on which ones you get, and then some 9mm. I think that was from Peak Performance or something like that. I can't remember, and then like 12 gauge. And someone was like, "Oh, wish we could find those now." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool." And so I went and looked at the post, and it was that 3.5 cents I was telling you about, 3.4 cents for 22, 27.5 cents for 5.56. And people were like, "I'm gonna wait. It's probably gonna go down."
Well, and here's the thing about all that is like, we don't have to try hard to fearmonger. I mean, there's plenty of hacks in the media doing that right now. So there's all kinds of things we could talk about to get you all wound up and scared. I find it's much harder to stay positive, but if you're inclined to, here's how you do it. I've seen this all before. Like, I'm not even that old.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a millennial. Okay. And I've already seen this game a few times. I mean, I was just getting into the shooting sports when Obama got into office.
Same.
And Sandy Hook happened and all that stuff. And you know what they were saying? And back when I was shooting IDPA, wearing a vest, like all, we talk about a bunch of guys who get wound up. They're all like, "Oh man, I don't know. Oh, man, are we even going to have matches this year? We need to." That was the first time you ever heard of a 22 division in match. Like, oh, we need to open a 22 division because, you know, no one's going to be able to get 9 mil and this and that and the other thing. And it was like, man, I don't know if I want to shoot a match because I'm not sure if I can replace my ammo. Like, it's all the same.
Exactly.
It's all happened before. I remember specifically the last time there is an ammo shortage. I mean, I paid $600 for 1,000 rounds of Federal bulk pack XM 193.
Yep.
You know, and
I've done
Gander
that.
Mountain had a lot of those cases, and they ended up having to sit on them for a long time after prices went back down again. But that's what they bought them for, so that's where they sat. But like I remember, I can picture the sticker in my head of $600 for 1,000 rounds. Like it's nothing new. That doesn't mean it's not serious, but like it's not this end of the world ism that's going on right now. Like it needs to stop, and you need to start.
Well, let me jump in with
think rationally on it.
You're right. Let me jump in with two things there, and the first is my first pistol was a 1911. It's 45 ACP.
Hell yeah,
yeah. Still got it. Haven't shot it since 2009. Because eventually 45 just got so expensive that I bought a Glock 17 and started shooting 9, you know, and I haven't shot it since. So that was how I adapted to the ammo shortage of the time was I switched calibers. And you and I were talking about switching calibers before we got the started the podcast. We can touch on that if you want to. But I want to read a post from our buddy Jeremy Gresham at IWI. And this is on his personal Facebook, but he tagged me in it, so I'm going to go. I think that means I get permission to read it. So this is from December 21st and 4:51 a.m. my time, which means 7 a.m. his time. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I am thoroughly enjoying everyone's post about not having ammo to go out and train for defense work or hobbies, or even about how matches should be dialed down in round count or heavy shotgun because how hard ammo is to come by. But they will charge. But will they charge less for a lesser match? Yeah, not a chance, you fools. Some of these wing wongs are the same people bitching about or bitching after a heavy shotgun match to begin with. It really brings joy to me to see this, as for the last 4 years, ammo has been all-time lows. Companies have been struggling to keep their doors open in many cases, as the big boys drove the price down so much. During all this, you failed to prepare yourself. Yet, I'm sure you have plenty of random bullshit gear you do not actually need. But hey, whatever looks cool for the gram, right? I mean, that's a good point right there. Side note, it really is all about the gram. Okay, back to Jeremy. For those who reload, you're even worse, as primers, powder, and bullets take up almost no room and were beyond cheap. The best part of all this is that ammunition and its components are out there, but now you expect to pay what the going rate was in 2018, when literally everyone from manufacturer to wholesaler to dealer had it in stock. Clearly, some of you missed economics class or failed. Price gouging people need to be throw punched, but MSRP or a little above is the price you pay when you fail to prepare. End of quote.
Well, and that's absolutely right. You know, I mean, and that goes, you know, the economics of it, but also the politics of it too. Like, people just don't understand how supply and demand works. It's like, yeah, demand's really high right now. So especially if it's flying off the shelves, how do they get it to stop flying off the shelves so they have some to sell their customer? They raise the price.
Yep.
Eventually they're going to raise the price until people aren't willing to pay it anymore. And then it's going to start to fill up on shelves again. And then when the shelves are full, they'll start lowering the price until it starts moving again. I mean, that's just how it works.
I was trying to explain this to a guy at work, and I stopped, and I'm like, dude, you have a college degree. Did you not take any econ at all? And like, econ 101 should be something that's required for absolutely fucking everyone that is going to have a job at some point or own a business. Like, that is so basic. It's so basic that I forget that I have to explain it to people sometimes. Supply and demand. You know, it's absolutely incredible. And especially like in our niche, which are supposedly freedom loving, small government type people. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, there's that. And then also, I think, again, back to like the Amazon culture, look at it this way. If you're participating in this sport, if you're a shooter, not just a gun person, but if you're a shooter, if you shoot on a regular basis, you are regularly consuming ammunition. It would behoove you to have a pipeline. This isn't like browbeating you about not doing this before, but like from right now, you out there listening right now, start with, okay, yes, I need what I need for this weekend, but also like start to accrue an inventory so you have your ammunition a month in advance, and then 2 months in advance, and then 6 months in advance, and build. I mean, you want to have a plan for acquiring ammunition beyond ordering what you need this week. I mean, if COVID taught us nothing else, I mean, we need to do that on a lot of our supplies, because if you get a hiccup in supply, you can still weather that storm. And even then, and that's not even talking about the economics of, the amount of money that you're saving buying in larger quantities.
Yeah.
I mean, before we came on this show, I was talking to one of my dealers. He's not interested in selling boxes of ammunition. He wants to sell ammunition by the case. If you want to buy it by the box, he said, go to Academy. If you're consuming ammunition, for matches on a regular basis, like you really are kind of a case customer. So it would behoove you to adjust your purchasing style to case or cases basis.
I'm gonna need the contact for that guy, by the way.
No, you don't want his contact.
Well, so let's.
I wish he didn't have my contact sometimes. He calls me every day.
So let's switch this up here, Adam. So we've kind of chastised the people who failed to plan. But I'll say this, unfortunately they probably are stopped listening by now. But I will say that like I was one of those people at the beginning too. Like I would buy enough ammunition that I needed for the month or whatever, but I was unaware that it could go away at any time because I was like new to the competitive shooting arena, new to firearms ownership in general. And to be honest, like I never thought freaking toilet paper would be something I wouldn't be able to buy.
Yeah.
Like, and I saw that this year in my friggin' lifetime. I saw a store without pasta, which, it's probably a good thing actually, but like it's crazy. Like shit can happen.
Tactical response when all that happened. So that was
a
culture shock.
It was here on the podcast and we talked about it. So
if you don't know what tactical response is, look it up. But
look up AMax on the show. So anyway, so let's turn positive here, man. So what? Yeah. But when this changes, what are steps that people can take to mitigate the impact of something like this again?
Well, even right now, I'm kind of of the opinion. Anyone who follows me on Instagram that it would be a couple weeks ago now, but like, I kind of went off on this the other day. It's like, if you really want ammo, it's out there and you can find it. You might have to work harder to get it. And especially if you're in the competition circle, I think everyone kind of gets a little bit of swap meet in their existence, being in this realm. So in the world of ammunition, like pick up brass. Like, yes, we probably have been spoiled for a little while that vast majority of people were buying factory ammunition, but brass has value, even if it's not a caliber that you want or use, you might know somebody who does. And those people generally are willing to trade for other things. So, perfect example, if you are only shooting 9mm, but you pick up a bunch of brass and it's heavy sort, you got a bunch of 40 and 38 super from a USPSA match. Well, guess what? Guys who shoot 40 and 38 super aren't shooting 9mm, and they probably have a lot of 9mm brass. So like you can kind of get these exchanges going.
That's good idea.
Of things. And it was the same thing like in the, in some of the bartering, when the real panic happened for toilet paper and whatnot. It's like, it doesn't just because you can't swipe a card to get it doesn't mean it's not out there and it doesn't have value. If you're in this world, you have a network of people who are looking for a variety of niche things. It's just a matter of asking around for who has what. So like I'm I'm down to the point now where I'm sorting old piles of brass, that I have in random stashed places. Because part of my moving process, I just thought I was going to get to it that day, and I'm there now. So I'm sorting through piles of brass, that I've had in this random box, like a random box that a shot shell box that I had that day, and I threw all this brass in there. Well, I'm finding it now and going through it, and and hey, you get enough 38 Super together, you can make a good trade. I found an old box of bullets from when I first started hand loading 38s, like 38 special. Took to the local. I don't have a 38. I do have a revolver, but not a 38. So I took to the local USPSA match, and I asked a couple of the guys who shoot revolver. I was like, "Hey man, do you have anything that you would want to trade for this?" And they're kind of hemming and hawing at first, because they have their own sources. But I'm just like, I have no use for this. I'm literally going to huck this in the dumpster if you don't want to use it. Well, what do you want? Well, do you have any 45 bullets? And he's like, yeah, I don't really shoot 45 anymore. So, 1-for-1 swap, 38 for 45 bullets. Now, dollars and cents, that probably wasn't a very good trade, but it was like, hey, he got some bullets that he was going to use, and I got some bullets that I was going to use. That's how you end up with ammo.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Is like people are so used to just purchasing everything that they need that they may not be open to like a trade until you like explain it to them. Like, I'm not trying to screw you. We both need things, and I need the things you have, and you need the things I have.
I'm literally just tired of looking at this box in my basement.
we could be friends and still have the things that we need.
Yep.
So.
And the other thing is, I find this amusing as well. For the long time now, like the trend, especially like the talking heads on the socials, we're all about like caliber consolidation, right? Like everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm just consolidating all my calibers, 9 and 223 is all I need, blah 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 blah. ARs and Glocks and this, that, and the other thing. And then like a couple months ago, you start to see the alternative guns videos coming out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden, what about AKs? And what about MP5s? And what about Tavors? And what about,
22 LR is the best self-defense round.
Have you guys ever heard of 300 Blackout? Why, yes, I have. And I've always kind of been a caliber diversity guy. Now, it gets a little bit more extreme every time because more and more people learn this lesson. But I learned it like back in those Sandy Hook days. I noticed you could buy all the 40 you wanted.
45 gap.
40, yeah. I kept some 40 guns around.
Come on, 45 gap.
Yeah, 45 gap too.
What's funny is like as much as I dislike 40, I just bought a second slingshot. I would rather use a slingshot to defend myself or my dog and myself than 40. Just saying.
Well, I would tend to agree. 40 is much better if you handle it. I guess I am like in normal times not interested in shooting normal factory 40. Hand loaded 40 on the other hand, even in major power factor, can be pleasant. So I'm on board with that way. And now I have a couple guns that actually shoot decent in 40. But it also kind of came down to, and we can kind of transition like into looking forward. Like, so all this happened, right? And like, yeah, I think the dynamics of training programs and all that, how much ammo we're actually going to get to shoot this year are going to change. I would hope, and I think that the major events shouldn't abbreviate in round count, because at the end of the day, if you're traveling, you're paying the fee, you're going there. Like, no, I didn't come here for a club match. I came here for a big thing, and I found the supplies to come.
So let me jump in there.
Yep.
I know you're saving the Christmas podcast for your trip this weekend, but I'm going to spoil a little bit for you. So one of the things that is Chad Torres, Forrest Lathrop, and Jay Christensen and I, one of the things that we were saying is that club matches, I think, probably going to have to make some accommodations as far as ammo goes.
Sure.
But majors, I don't think should. I think it
No.
should be the people who really want it go, and the people who are going to pay 50 cents a round for that experience are really going to enjoy that experience. And maybe here's the thing: is like, not everybody has the means you do. There's people
Correct.
out there where like 50 cents a round, they're just like not posting on Facebook because they don't give a shit. They're price insensitive on that. That's my fun money. Maybe I'll go to 12 matches instead of 13 this year since I can only get 80 cents a round, 5.56. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I know guys that shoot 77 grain Sierra Match Kings at everything, including paper. Yeah, exactly. So like, there's all different levels. So don't assume everyone has the same thing as you. But as far as that goes, and one of the things you mentioned was ammo diversity that I want to jump on here. I've not been the ammo diversity guy because I've usually been like, everything in 5.56, and it's like if you got that one kid with celiac disease, he's gonna starve if he can't eat 5.56. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm just kidding. So, but the 300 blackout thing does kind of make sense. 300 black went away pretty quick, but one of the things that I found is that when what the hell's it called? 5.56 was like 75 to 80 cents a round. I was still able to find 6.5 Creedmoor on sale and probably like $1.25 a round or something like that, or $1.30 a round. Not too bad, right? So for my personal season here, that's not work related, I'm just gonna have to switch it up a little bit. So I'm gonna shoot a bunch of 22. Since I mentioned I bought 10,000 rounds of 22, and I'm going to shoot 6.5 Creedmoor until all that's gone. And then we'll see where we go from there. Now, I do have stores of 5.56, and I do have stores of 9mm. I don't have enough to train like I trained in 2019 and shoot as many matches as I shot in 2016. But there is a balance in there somewhere, so I need to figure out what that is, and then figure out what matches I can afford to go to.
And I'm in a similar place too. Just unknowns being unknown. I have a supply of 9mm. I certainly have enough 9mm to shoot the major matches that I want to for the year. But like, what of the rest of it? And kind of the direction that I went with it. Getting back to like caliber diversity. Is for the local stuff. I personally, I don't even remember why I let my USPSA lapse around 2016 or 2017. I was active before. I had a classification, just didn't renew. And kind of where I'm at now in the industry, kind of have taken up an interest in doing it again. And there's a lot of people in this circle, even people who aren't actively competing now, but are instructors. Most of them have the feather in their cap of being master level shooters, if not grandmasters, or most of them will quote master. You have to really love competition to be grandmaster. But like, they kind of have that, they kind of check that box. And then I looked back at my old classifications, and here I am classified B in limited and single stack and lim 10. And it was kind of like, you know what? That's not an accurate depiction of where I'm at shooting wise. And it's just a function of, I haven't shot any classifiers on the record for the last however many years.
Yeah.
So I kind of went the route of like, well, maybe this is my time. I do have some 40 ammo that I acquired over the years. I'm like, my ammo conservation while still participating was like, well, let's take this time, especially in the winter and spring here. I'm focusing on upping my classification in limited. So I got my limited major gun out, spending some time with it, and it kind of gives me the cross training aspect that I really like, that we've talked about on the show before. And then it's also like, here's something that I can chase. It's completely attainable with dry fire, so it doesn't require a lot of live fire to do, versus like some sort of long range proficiency goal. You really have to live fire that. So I've kind of switched gears in that I've focused on right now. I'm focusing on upping some of my USPSA classifications And a lot of that rewards major, so it just happens to be focusing on ammo that's a little bit more available, or it's substituting ammo that I'm trying to save for something else.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
And since I'm now hand loading it, I got this idea in my head that maybe 40 is the new thing for tack optics, because you could shoot major and minor. So like when you go to a match and you know it's having spinners. Just saying, Dave. I might make it happen.
Shut your dirty mouth.
Anyway, that's what I'm doing right now.
I was with you all up until then.
Yeah, I got this idea in my head because I might get a 40 gun that has the ability to put a dot on it, specifically because I work at an optics company.
Makes sense.
And I'm like, well, if I have a 40 gun that has a dot on it, maybe I should play the major minor game in open. I don't know.
Like changing between stages? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So you bring both kinds of ammo. Scott Green shoots major all the time, doesn't he?
I have no idea.
But Scott Green will shoot open. Like if there's a spinner on stage, Scott Green will absolutely be shooting 9 major ammo. And he basically throat punches the spinner.
Oh yeah.
I've compared to everyone else shooting, Dinger 9, but
Dinger 9. I had to explain to someone what blaster ammo was the other day. Like I forgot that was like a 3-gunism. Like, what? If I'm out just shooting, my blaster 5.56, then I don't really care about that. But blah 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 blah. It's like what? Like oh yeah. Sorry, vernacular. My bad.
My bad.
Yep. Well, okay. AMax, we figured out what happened to all the guns. We figured out what happened to all the ammo. We kind of gave some good advice for what to do in the current conditions, what to do in future conditions. I feel like we've given the audience a good blueprint for a good 2021. Is there anything that you would add to your advice for 2021 for folks out there listening?
Well, I guess along the lines of resolutions, like what events are you looking forward to for 21? What's on your radar?
The only thing I've signed up for is Texas 3-Gun Championship. I want to shoot that in heavy again.
I signed up for that as well. Not for heavy, but I did sign up for that.
Why not? It's so lame.
I haven't decided yet. But I do actually have a lot of 308 ammo.
I'll be honest, man. Like I don't really have a whole lot of shooting goals right now. I've got some other stuff that I got to lock up and take care of first. I know that sounds kind of weird coming from me, but there's some other things I got to figure out first. So I really don't have a whole lot of shooting goals right now. This may be the year that I just kind of wing it.
Well, you're good at that.
Yeah, I'm not too bad at that. But I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't call it shooting goals, but it's
not necessarily goals, but like what events? I guess what events are you going to try and be at?
Honestly, I don't know. Uncomfortable topic. I'll tell you off the air, but there's a lot of stuff up in the air right now, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to be at. I know I'll be at Texas 3-Gun. I know I'm going to make Jeff Kirkwold Memorial 3-Gun happen, and then after that, everything else is a bonus. Like I know I really want to shoot Gen 3 again because this year Gen 3 rocked. I know I want to shoot the Wisconsin 3-Gun Championship because it looked like this year was a great match, and I unfortunately missed it. I did shoot it in 2019. I know I want to shoot Wyoming Governor's match. I know I want to try to get to some sort of match over at Palisade Grand Junction. They put that Cameo shooting range in there, and that seems like a really great venue. I'd love to go shoot there. But honestly, man, I was just looking at, before we were getting live here, I was looking at that K&M training facility that you and I went to. and we shot that
Oh, yep.
sniper match in Tennessee. I
Yep.
was looking at that, like they've got like a 4-day precision rifle course, and I was thinking about buying myself that for my birthday, and doing that one. But honestly, I don't know. It's everything's kind of up in the air right now. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to shoot a buttload of 22 though.
My colleague Bryce, we were out at Coleman Creek in North Carolina doing a military demo, and they were talking about the Vortex team sniper match that's coming up out there, and I did get talked into doing that. I wanted to do it this year. It's full, so I can't. But for next year, I do have it on my radar to try a sniper match. Definitely calling the short range gas gun guy, like someone else can shoot the long gun.
Yeah. I want to be the short range gas gun guy.
Yeah, I don't like Mark 12 that thing all day, and I'm really excited because they have like this tough man division, which all you SF guys are just going to be like, screw that, because I did that. Play with that toy until I broke it, as Mark used to say. I haven't, so like I only want to do it if I'm in the division where you have to camp outside and hike to all the stages.
Yeah, I'll take a cabin. That's cool.
And then I mean, obviously, looking forward to Texas 3-gun. That's an awesome match. I really like the UML stuff, so I'm signed up for most of the big matches on that. Memorial 3-gun is definitely something to look forward to, and then obviously I'm putting on the Wisconsin and Kirkwall championships with a lot of help from a lot of friends. And then I also really hope that that Tri-Gun comes back this year. That got canceled just straight up canceled last year. That's always a good time for me with my Minnesota peeps. So really looking forward to working the Tri-Gun again, and getting that sense of normalcy back to our schedule as well. That's really what I'm looking forward to for this year. So I'm not quite sure when my season's going to start, but really kind of looking forward to all of that. And I think it'll be here before we know it, because we have, in lieu of SHOT Show, we're actually bringing a lot of customers to headquarters. So we're doing a lot of Vortex experience stuff at Vortex headquarters. So I think it's going to be like a mini fall here, and spring's going to be here before you know it. So
that'd be good.
And we're actually hosting a representative from Recoil Magazine here. Actually, the e-content person is going to be here. So if you guys keep an eye on Recoil here in the next few months, you might even get a taste of what we call the Vortex experience is. And that's some pretty cool stuff. So something to keep an eye out for when you're out there on the interwebs.
Hell yeah. Well, cool. Well, I'm going to go with final thought or piece of advice. I'm going to go first this time, which is kind of weird. I usually let you go first. But I want to tell people, like, hang in there. Shit's going to get bumpy, but we're gonna come out on the other end, and we'll still be shooting 3-gun. We'll still be doing all the things we can do. We just have to take up the position of don't tread on me, and fight any type of treading. Whether that's like someone trying to say that you can't go to your place of business and open it up and make money, live your life, or there's ammo shortages. In the grand scheme of things, ammo shortages seem kind of trivial for all the things that are going on right now. And AMax, we talked about some things that you've had to change plans in your life for the COVID BS, and
COVID canceled my wedding, everyone.
So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that I would say for everyone out there, hang in there. Take vitamin D, take zinc, take a multivitamin, and then work on your health, work on your PT. AMax?
I'm going to kind of piggyback on that too. Like normal's going to return when we make it return. So, I mean, it's been a psi manipulation, but at this point, go out there and live your life. Be smart. You're all smart people. Like, think critically, analyze the situation, do what's right for you, live your life. If you're listening to this show, living your life probably involves shooting a lot of matches. So incorporate that into your life, even if it's not as much or as the same as it was before. I mean, I refuse to accept a new normal. That's BS. There's just normal. Normal is whatever you make it be. So if you want to shoot matches, go shoot matches. Go out, do what you do, take care of yourself, eat healthy, get in shape. I lost to COVID-19. I didn't gain a COVID-19 pounds. So, everything else is just excuses. So,
give hugs.
Give hugs. Be nice to people.
Be nice to people.
You
never know what someone else is going through. Be nice.
Yeah. But, just get out there. Just get out there and do it. And the rest will work itself out.
I love it. All right. AMax, Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, Dave.
Looking forward to seeing you on the road at the ranges and all the matches around the country. For everybody listening, thanks for listening to the 3 Gun Show. Happy New Year, and we'll catch you next year.
Happy New Year, everyone.